Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Comic Chronicle podcast. You're probably hearing my cat Pedro in the back right now because he's being fed at the moment I'm recording this. I'm your guys' host, dakotamorgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Your friendly neighborhood podcaster, animal caretaker, dinosaur enthusiast, toy unboxer, video game streamer, all the jazz like that. We're here today with Taylor Esposito, letterer for DC, Marvel, so many indie comic book companies. Taylor joins me on the show today to talk about being a letterer in comics. A lot of motivational stuff, pushing forward and working to get where you want to get in life, especially in the arts. We talk about a little bit about politics in a sense here, but we overall, and a lot of nerd stuff and spoilers. If you're a spoiler guy or gal out there on the internet or in between, you know what? Fuck yourself. But besides the point here, thank you everybody I'm just alienating my audience right now. I thank you guys for joining me on this episode today. Make sure you guys subscribe to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, comicchronicle.podbean.com for new episodes and such. It's been forever since we've been back. We're going to do a review episode though before this because continuity-wise, the girlfriend and I are about to go see Black Widow. But in the episode release continuity-wise, the review will already be out. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. The Comic Chronicle podcast is back. We're having some really cool guests on the show that I've been working with here. So, that's awesome. But I've also been doing work on my own comic book strategy comics, so stay tuned for that later on this year. And yeah, I'm also on Twitch, CodaRex97. If you want to catch me live, raw and uncut when I do video games, check out the YouTube channel that I do for toy unboxings, Dino Times Dinosaur themed show, other podcast stuff as well too, video game playthroughs as well. Lots of cool shit on there, folks. Lots of cool shit. Kaiju stuff every now and then too. Really cool stuff. And it's Dakota Morgan on YouTube. I'm at Twitter at dakotamorgan3, Instagram at dakota_morgan97. But enough of me trying to sell myself like a New York cheap whore. Now, folks, let me get to my talk with Taylor. Now, Taylor, good man. I like this. I'm a man of class. I think it was because of the military in the background a little bit there, but I'm a man of class and tradition, and I like to say this with everyone who comes on the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Of course. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of a man of your stature we don't have often on the show. Like, we have people of actors, writers, artists, all sorts of stuff like that, and directors. But, like, to have someone of your status, to say the least here, of being a letterer is actually pretty sweet.
Status. That's the first time I've heard lettering called status, but I'll take it.
Really? It doesn't. I want to make it clear. That's nothing bad. To me, it's a high status.
It's all right. It's cool.
Oh, taken out a record, it does sound like shit. Your status as a comic book writer, like, ooh, or a comic book letterer, like, ooh. I don't know. Whenever you put status in front of anything, I think it really it makes it sound bad.
Not necessarily. I think it's just the context you're using for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Usually, I mean, I don't know. Every time I've heard about it, because the stuff I've done in film before, they're like, well, your status. I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah, because they're using it like where your station in life. I get that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like some of the, like, well, the status of your book, for when, because I write comic books too. I write like 7 book series for SUGS, indie comic book company out there now. And they'll be like, well, the status of this one, I'm like, oh, it's never great. When you say like, oh no, that means we're getting delayed in the stores. Oh no. Oh, it's a whole thing and a half. But yeah, like, to be honest, I think you guys are extremely important and, in my mind, underrated.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I sound like I'm insulting you, but I swear to fucking God, I'm not. I'm trying.
No, I get it. You know what it is? I have a hard time taking praise. I've always been like that. So
I feel that.
Naturally, I go into an industry where I'm looking for validation all the time, right?
Us, I mean, I get it. You work in the arts, and they're like, yeah, like, yeah. I mean, but I mean, it's not. That keeps you humble in my mind. It's nothing too bad. People say it's bad. I don't think it is.
I mean, like, look, don't get me wrong. Like, I am definitely someone who knows my skill set. I know where I am. Like, and this is something recent, by the way. But having been working at the school now, the Hubert School, for a couple of years now, it's like, all right, well, I know what I'm doing now. I'm not just some clown who's kind of, am I doing this okay? Am I just like kind of getting by? Now I'm like, all right, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. I'm an expert here. But even then, it's like, I'm an expert, but I know when to shut my mouth. Like.
Yeah, it's that little bit of self-doubt that still sticks with you, and you're like, damn it. No, I get that. There's there's recently I've been doing some animal shows with the animal work I do on this as well, and there's things I've been teaching and whatnot. I also work full time at an animal hospital, an exotic one, and you're teaching new people or you're teaching school kids and whatnot, and you're like, man, I wonder if I'm giving the right advice. Like wait, like this is how you hold it and stuff, and oh, this one's venomous, and it's like, ooh, I know I'm professional and I have the shot for a reason, but then part of you's like, But like I said, I think it keeps you humble and keeps you motivated to like maybe learn new things.
Oh yeah,
In a
no,
sense.
sure.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny because just today I was teaching, and I'm like, I'm like going through my usual spiel, like for the first class. I'm like, this is what we're doing. This is how it works. I'm
Hmm.
like, and recommending, text because nobody wants to read. I know they don't want to read, but if know, like here's some material, I'm going to be teaching from it, so it's fine. So I'm like talking about how I was recommending my friend Nate Picos, the blind bot. His book is
Ooh.
out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I read through it, and like I learned from it. Like I've been doing this for 10 years, and I learned some stuff from reading this book. So it's not like you just stop learning. And by the same token, like when I was going through it with Nate, I'm like, oh, you didn't talk about this, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I explained it to him. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. So like
What?
we never stop learning. It's
No. Yeah.
and
It's
when
true.
you realize that you're still learning, that's the important part. Once you think you're an expert and like I am done, I am at the top of the mountain, like, then it's like, yeah, you just retire at that point, buddy.
Yeah. It is retire, and like I think it goes into a thing of adaptation and evolution. Like, and that's the thing. Like they're like you're always everything's constantly evolving.
Oh, for sure.
Everything, and I'll tell you for a fact, everything does. Let me tell you, and people do, and you. I mean, it's just great to learn new stuff. Like people like, oh, you're so great at writing comics. Oh, you must not learn. And like, you must not listen to people who come on your show and stuff. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I listen to everybody who comes onto my show. Everybody's way better than me. I take all the advice. And they're like, even if people say I'm the greatest, like I don't believe so. I'm like, well, what can I do to improve? And I think that this goes back to being humble, man. That it seems to be a trait that a lot of people are losing. I'll go on record and say that.
Yeah, I mean, like I tend to hang with like-minded people, and they're always
Fair.
like self-doubt, that kind of stuff. Um,
Hmm.
but I look at them like, what the hell are you talking about? This is great. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think it's just that thing, like you're always striving to improve. You're always looking to be better, and you're always going to see your flaws. Like I tell my students, like, because they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. This is so crazy. Whatever. I'm like, listen, I look back at stuff from a year ago and I see mistakes. You don't want to know what I think about the stuff when I first started. Like it's constantly like cringe. Like, and I tell them like, it was that line from Futurama. Sharks don't look back because they don't have necks. Like, just keep moving forward. Like, don't keep going.
I forgot about that.
It's a great line. I mean, the
Oh,
guy
it is.
total sleaze and a total asshole, but it's a good line.
And then, I mean, if you can quote something from Futurama, you know it's gonna work. That's the problem. Like, oh, that was a good show. Oh, that. Have you watched any of it recently?
No, not lately.
Not lately.
I tend to do rewatches of stuff while I'm working. Just have something in the background. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
I haven't gotten around to it because I tend to look for stuff that is not going to engross me too much.
Oh, then that's definitely one you don't want to, because I want to tell you for a fact it still holds up. I had a slight binge. I'm like, oh, let me watch a couple episodes. Want to see if it still holds up years later. And I watched some of the older ones, and then I watched all the way to newer ones. Like, oh my god, I'm 15 episodes in.
Oh yeah,
Oh, this
sure.
day off of work has just really gone downhill.
I say that, and then I'm on my seventh run through The Simpsons again.
Oh my, how do you? Okay, you must play that when you're doing work. There's no
Yeah,
way.
oh, clearly, yeah.
Oh,
It's on in the background. I no, if I sat there and watched the whole thing, I'd be covered in bed sores.
oh,
Not covered.
there's no way. Oh, that's why I think it's like FXX or whatever the hell it is nowadays. They always are like, we're playing The Simpsons from the first episode till the current episode. And I'm like, okay, great. So there's gonna be no movies on that channel or anything like that. It's just gonna be straight Simpsons for a good 2 months.
Yeah, that started basically when I first went freelance. Uh,
Really?
yeah, I think it was like that. I might have still been working there, but like the first run of straight through was then. And then they did it again not too long after, like with everything else that had come since.
Mm,
Yeah, I just blew through it. I'm still blowing.
that's great. I mean, Simpsons has been along with you for the whole ride. That's pretty great.
And like I've had on again. You mentioned FXX. I used to have Parks and Rec on all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good one. I find movie scores when I'm working. That seems to really get it going for me in not in a like sexual way, but in a way of like, writing and stuff along those lines. Like
No, I get
I
it.
yeah, I want to make it clear to people. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, that's what he's into." Like, wait, no, I want to be perfectly clear. That's not it. Uh yeah, it's a whole thing. I found movie scores. A buddy of mine he's like, "Yeah, you listen to that stuff when you're like exercising." Like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "Well, listen to it when you're trying to write scripts." I'm like, okay, okay. And I tried it. I've never gone back. I've never changed anything. It's pretty great.
No, I need to like because I'm at such a point where I kind of go into like what's it called?
Yeah,
Uh,
deep dive or deep
you know,
hole.
that like auto mode. Like the autopilot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm working and I'm just there. So I tend to do stuff that is minimal distraction, just kind of like, just I can just work without even having to think. I mean, and
Mm,
that's the nice thing about doing this stuff for like so long. Like it does become second nature. And people,
true.
you're not reading this stuff. I'm reading it, but I'm not fanboy reading it. I'm like, okay, this is the equivalent of doing a book report. What's the gist of it? What do I need to know? Let's get started.
Mm,
That kind of thing.
mm. Okay, I like that. That's a good way to look upon it there. I mean, how long is it usually taking you? Because I mean, everyone's different on the way of speed, and then with deadlines. I mean, there's that too. But with you, how long does it usually take to be for lettering work?
If I'm not interrupted with like corrections and life, and
Guys wanting you on a podcast.
no, I'm not. No,
Yeah.
but like if it's not just like little things constantly picking at me, or like I said, like crazy late things that need to be fixed at the 11th hour,
Mm,
I tend to try to do about 20 pages a day.
holy
Book
shit!
a day. Um,
Wow.
yeah, like if I can keep that speed, um, doing about what 20 books a month, it's livable. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's doable. I mean, to me that sounds insane but it's like it honestly doesn't sound too bad. I mean, when you're being the letter and going in on it and going to doing the work, I mean you've been doing it since the Simpsons have been around. So I'm not trying to age you, but it's like that I mean the professionalism kind of kicks in like we talked about, and you can kind of like blow through. It seems probably like second nature to you at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, like there's sometimes when I need to like really focus on like what's really going on. We work on something that's not so straightforward art or something like that,
Mm,
or something that needs a little bit extra touch. Because like my philosophy at this point is keep things simple. Like it's
mm,
cool to like do all these crazy effects and stuff, but if it's gonna take away from the story, like if it's gonna take you out of it or distract you from what's going on, I'm not doing my job anymore. So
mm.
I try to keep it like unless it absolutely needs that extra touch. Balloons are kind of simple. Sound effects are simple. I try to integrate them. It's not like they're just sitting on top of the page, but I try to keep the idea of the story going forward. You know, um,
Yeah, yeah. Kind of keep people engaged into the page almost and with the storyline of what's happening, what they're reading, and also to the artwork too, because it's all everybody works together in a sense. Even like I think people don't really understand that is, and I teach people this a lot with the show over the past couple of years, is when you're when you're with a comic crew and you're on a book, everybody's working together, even if they're not in the same working space, like in the same office or anything like that. Like everybody's working hand in hand on stuff. Like the artist is counting on the letterer, the writer is counting on the letterer, the artist is counting on the writer. You're counting on the writer, the writer's counting on you too. Like it's a whole and it anchors too when you include them as well. They're all counting on each other. Like it's a whole family network that really, really counts on one another almost.
yeah, no, I mean it's one of those things like it works best when you have a chance to gel together. Like
Yeah.
and I do try to sync up with whoever I'm working with. But when it's like, all right, here's this guy I got paired up with at this publisher, we never really talk, whatever. I can do fine. But when it's like, okay, here's, you know, for sake of argument, my buddy Jason Inman, who does, we did Jupiter Jet together.
Yeah.
All that stuff. You know, we've been working together for a while now. We kind of know each other, so it's like we can kind of just move on this stuff, and I know what he likes. He knows what to expect from me. Or, you know, like with Aubrey Sitterson, like, you know, I'm doing all these books with him, and it's gotten to the point where he just writes, "All right, Taylor, do your thing in the script," and I just do whatever I want to do, you know.
It's kind of like, I trust you. You have the freeway to do whatever you want. I'm like, all right.
Well,
That's great.
He puts Taylor Magic in the script next to whatever he wants.
That's pretty sweet. That's pretty great. Oh, that's cool. I mean, but how do you become a letterer though? That's where, like, because I've heard stories over the years, and friends of mine, and it's, the artist Paul Trinidad, who brings my books to life. And, you know, I hear all the stories from people, and people who become want to play a certain comic book character, and they do. But how, like, being a letterer, like, where does that come from in a way? It sounds like a very time interview question, but honestly, I'm very curious.
Honestly, I fell into this all ass backwards.
Really? How does that go around?
All right, so we'll go back a ways, but you know, I finished college in 2006, and I was kind of like just looking for work, you know, whatever. And a college buddy of mine was working at Marvel in the production, you know, bullpen, and he's like, "Hey, they've got like this temp job. It's going to take a couple days. You interested?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I got nothing else to do." So I took the job, you know. Basically what I was doing was the early days of that Marvel Comics Unlimited digital stuff.
Yeah, I remember those days.
So 2 days was like, all right, 2 days are done. They're like, keep coming in. So it just kept happening. And then they're like, oh, we need help in the bullpen. So I started getting roped into the bullpen. And, you know, I was there for a while, like 5 years. And I ended up being assistant to the bullpen manager. I forget what her title was. But yeah, so I was like, you know, second or third in command, whatever, getting stuff out the door, all that stuff. Then Marvel Apocalypse, whatever they called it, when everyone got laid off. I was one of the ones that got laid off, and I had already kind of had like a passing interest in lettering, like, because I would look at the unassembled files, you know, like I'd get the lettering files and all the color files and have to assemble them for the print. And it kind of like was interesting. I think I could like this, and you know, just kind of in and out my ear.
Yeah.
Then the layoff happened. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. So I grabbed the books I was using at the time, you know, because reading up on it. And I was like, what the hell? I'll give it a shot. So, you know, I tried to assemble a portfolio, try to get some work. It was a rough year. It was almost a year to the day. And then I got hired at DC for their staff letterer. And I was there for like 2.5 years, something like that. And then they're like, hey, we're going to California. And I'm like, I'm not going. So,
that's what I'm saying here.
So, you know, I finished up my time there, and I went freelance in 2015. It's 2015. And I've been doing it ever since.
You're not wrong about the ass backwards, by the way, because he's just like, oh, I did a thing, and next thing you know, I'm doing all this, and I'm at the Cooper School, and I'm freelance. Like, holy shit! I
never really intended to get into comics. It just worked out that way.
Yeah, which is like the best way to do it.
And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm a comics fan from way back. I've been reading since I could read. You know, my earliest memories is what do you call it? Superpowers figures with the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez art on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's my life. But I never thought like, oh yeah, I'll just make comics. And it just worked out that way.
That, you know, people are gonna hear this and they're gonna be mad. They're like, I've been trying for so long. And then they're like, this son of a bitch.
My favorite thing to do is the people who are like super into it, but they're also obnoxious. Like, how did you do it? Like, how do you get in? I'm like, I didn't want to get in.
Now I'm here. Suck it. It's really great. Oh God, yeah, they're all triggered right now. That's great. I'll hear about that one in the fan mail. I don't give a shit. It's fine. But yeah, man. I like that though. I like it because it's one of those like, you kind of just. I mean, what did you go to college for though?
Graphic design. So it's
Graphic design. Oh, okay.
not like it was totally out of left field, you know.
Okay.
But
You went to school to be a dentist, and then next thing you know, comics. No.
I mean, stranger things have happened. There is a writer who was in the CIA, so
We do have that. We do have that. It's like I guess I can't say anything because I write comics for a company and then I fucking take care of crocodiles. So here we are. So we don't really know. And I also draw blood on animals at a hospital. Who knows? This is, you know what I find I had this conversation with someone a while back was that when people who work in comic books, like the lives that we live outside of them, I know we're not going to get into it too much, but like our lives outside of comic books are always very fascinating, to say the least. Like it's way different than I think anybody expects.
you know what's funny? Mine isn't though, because my life is basically always comics. Because
It is
like, you know, I work longer than I'd like to, and part of it is because you know a lot of this stuff. You know, when you're freelance, a lot of it is
it's work.
it's like bookkeeping and keeping up with clients and all this stuff. It's all the not fun stuff, you know.
the hustle and bustle about it.
It's one of those things where like you just have to do it and you have to have the time. But I like to dedicate a good 8 hours to my actual work. You know, like I try to be realistic. 8 hours, sometimes a little longer, whatever. You know, things happen.
Mhm.
And you know, now that I teach too, like I have to cut into my nighttime because I'm teaching 2-3 days a week for 6-7 hours. Like I can't get through as many pages I'd like to at that time because you know my first job is to make sure these kids are learning. So
Yep. Yeah.
So it does eat into like free time a little bit, but after that, I'm so fried. All I want to do is like, oh, let's go grab a beer. Let's go shoot the shit. Let me just go do this jigsaw puzzle. Like I don't.
Yeah. I'm gonna go bowling or something. Like yeah.
I just want to not think about anything at that point and just like decompress. But yeah, that's
I mean, that's not too bad either. In a sense, like when you're not working on comics, I guess you can say you are when you're teaching, but then you're a school teacher in a way, you could say. I mean, I would say you're a school teacher. So it's like
I try to keep it like interesting. I'm not just like, oh yeah, Mr. So and so, like Ben Stein and Ferris Bueller.
It's a good reference.
Yeah, that's me. It's all references.
Hey, I love it. We're gonna really age ourselves with that though, and people younger than me are gonna be like, "Who is that? What Ferris Bueller?" And I'm like, "Oh God."
Ferris Bueller was this boy.
Yeah, a long time ago. You know what? I had a stepsister of mine. She had no idea what Blockbuster was.
That's scary.
We've hit that point. And she's like, "What's a VHS?" I've heard like, is that there's an emoji or something for that? Like, oh no. So no, it's begun.
You know what?
I don't like this.
So I'm in my 30s,
Okay.
and I'm teaching for the first time. And you know, in your 30s, you're kind of like, I'm not that far off from my 20s. I know what a college kid was like. So they asked me what the hell they are. I'm like, I'm so and so, and they're like, one kid's like, oh, you're like my mom's age.
Oh.
And my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, oh my god, I'm old.
Oh.
Compared to these kids, I'm old. Like they were born after 2000.
Oh,
like, some of these kids have never actually seen the Twin Towers, and I'm like,
oh,
that's nuts.
Oh, this is hitting me. This is hitting me hard. It very much is. Like someone the other day said, "Oh, we don't need that." I'm 24, mind you. It's like, "Oh, you know, I didn't need the ID." I'm like, "What? Why?" I saw your gray hair is poking through. Like, oh,
I've been going gray since 19. That means nothing.
Oh really? People. Well, the problem is, people are gonna think I dyed my hair, and they're like, "Oh, you dyed your hair for part of the fad?" I know. No, I didn't. Well, Quicksilver. What do you want from me here?
Yeah, and I've been going gray since 14. I mean, I'll take it because I have a full head of hair, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but mine's receding too. So I'm jealous. Consider me, because they're like one person said they're like, oh, it was a hairstylist. She's like, yeah, I found your gray hairs and your hairline's receding. Do you want to do any treatment for it? I'm like, and I told her, I was like, I'm 24 years old. If you're telling me this, I'm very much in trouble in my life, aren't I? Like, it's not gonna work out well for me. My stress in the end here.
You know,
Oh,
that's not
uh,
what I want to hear.
yeah, it's a thing and a half. It really is. You know what? We move forward with it, and I still have a couple VHS tapes of MASH, so that's what matters. Oh, thanks, Grandpa. But how is it teaching though? Like, because I've done I've done teaching at colleges before for film stuff that I've done in the past for set design and building, and I do teaching for exotic animals and such. But how is it for comics wise teaching? Kind of getting that. Is it kind of weird, especially when you first started? Was it like I'm teaching about comic books?
It was weird at first because I'm not formally trained as a teacher. I don't know any of this stuff. So I just kind of presented it like, well, how would I want to learn it? So,
Hmm.
uh, give the basics. And, my first year was hard. I was trying to figure things out. And I was like, oh, I know. I'll have them read these books and then give them a test so that way they know the information. Yeah, right.
Oh. Yeah. Read these books. What books? Fuck off. Teach.
Well, it
Yeah,
was just like to go into the minutia of the books would eat up class time. So I was like, oh, let me just, here's the material. And I'm going to go through like the broad strokes and then you can just kind of fill in the blanks. And I realized it didn't work. So now it's kind of like, I kind of present it like, here's what we do, here's what our goal is, and we take it step by step to kind of get to that goal. So I'm like, I break everything down. So like, here's how to do word balloons, here's how to do sound effects, here's how to make your template, here's how to do this, that, whatever. But taking the first half of the year, just kind of holding their hands, walking through this stuff. I give them practice pages, whatever. And then the second semester is like, all right, now you're working. Here's a book, you
Oh.
got 3 weeks. Here's a book, you got 3 weeks. Here's a book.
Oh shit. I like that though. I like it because it's like here's some help. Now you're on your own. You got to learn, adapt, improvise in your own type of style.
And I said to them, like, I'm not looking for perfection here. What I'm looking for is every single page, you get better, you get smarter, as long as that's there. And I tell them at the end of the day, like, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't want to be a letterer.
It's
Most
fair.
most people do not come to this school to become letterers. It's not there.
Mm.
Everyone wants to be a penciler, maybe an inker, whatever, right? But everybody wants to make comics. You don't think of lettering as comics, and that's fine. That's cool. But what I want you to get out of this is that when you're drawing your pages and they come to me, and I'm like, it's not necessarily going to come to me, but someone like me, they work. Like I'm not making,
Mm.
I'm not doing acrobatics here to get things to fit. Because I find out that you have pages that don't work properly, first speaker on the left, room at the top, all that stuff.
Mm.
Like, I'll be nice, and I'd be very disappointed in you all.
God, I don't know. I'd find that intense, but I love it. I mean, I'm a weird guy, so there is that. But that's great.
Because
That's a good way to do it. Hey folks, Dakota here with a little bit of an ad break, but this is one you definitely want to listen to if you guys are a comic fan, which you are if you're listening to the show. You guys like comics and you like reading them in person. Let me tell you, go to Drawn the Comics in Glendale, Arizona. This is not just a hype thing for this ad, let me tell you. I've been going there for years. I've had Cam Brown on the show all the time. Such a good guy. It's such a good community. Everyone who works there, they know you. You get your box number, you get your thing. You get all you need to do there. You get your collectible toys, car, whatever it may be. Comics, it's all there for you guys. That's Drawn the Comics in Glendale, Arizona. Here's the address, 5801 West Glendale Avenue, Glendale, Arizona, in downtown Glendale. And if you guys want to visit them, you can visit them, drawntocomics.com, or find them on social media, and the number is 623-847-9090. You give them a call. Definitely, guys, I love going to the store. And this is not a fucking lie. I love going. It's so amazing. Thanks, everyone, and hopefully you guys check them out if you're in Arizona or maybe passing through. Remember, guys, Drawn the Comics. Go check it out for your books. Reading books in person is so much better than digital, but I love digital too, so it's a little bit of a toss-up. Support brick and mortar companies. We definitely need you to. Thanks, everyone. And now, without further ado, I'm going to take it back to future me.
It's more just to get an idea of like what's right and what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, again, like I said, everything is towards serving the bigger purpose, which is the narrative, right? And if I can at least teach them, hey, don't mess your narrative up by making the letterer do more work than's necessary, cover things up
Mm.
you don't want covered up, they've learned something, and that's enough for me.
Yeah, they learn what other people that are working on a book that they're making is going to have to deal with. So I think that's great that
And
that students
at
do
the
that.
very least, like if you have that understanding, your book theoretically would be better than the other book on the market. Like
Yeah.
when the
Yes.
girl who did not, leave space and account for this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because fans notice that. As you know, us comic book fans, we're strict sometimes, and we're kind of weird, and we're kind of intense, and so fans do notice that sort of thing. Like, I appreciate that, and man, what were you like? I need you to teach me like high school again or something, because I feel like it'd be great. Because it'd be like a lot more, it'd be a lot nicer.
You know what? That's one of those things. Like I remember being in school, and like when you're like taking a history class, and I'm gonna date myself when they got the projector with the dry erase on it. You can write on.
Oh, I remember those. Oh,
Yeah.
I do remember those.
Some
Yeah,
reason,
yeah.
some listeners are gonna be like, "What the hell is he talking about?"
We
But
have small boards.
they're taking a class like that, or just note taking, or all theoretical, no practical. I can't do that. I hate that. Which is
Yeah.
one reason I became an art major, because hands-on, figure things out. That's how I learn. You can tell me, obviously not 2 + 2 is 4, but like you can tell me that, and I'll look at you like, what are you talking about? But if you
Fair.
give me 2 apples and 2 oranges and how many I have, okay, now I see it. I'm tactile. I'm visual, and
Mhm.
that's what I try to do with this. Like I could tell you, oh, this is the theory of lettering. I give my theory, but it's more just about doing.
Mm. I like that. I really do because I mean, it's got to be taking at things when you're teaching it too. It's got to be very interesting because you don't want everyone to do just your way. You want them to do their way. That's what that's why I give credit to you and everybody else who teaches stuff in the arts because like everyone's like, oh, they're just teaching them a certain way. It's like, no, we're trying to teach them a way to do it. But the goal is to have them do it in their own creative way. So then it's their way of doing
I
things.
mean,
So then they can get it.
early on, I try to get them to do it my way, so they can,
Oh, okay.
so they can understand what I'm doing. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with them diverging, because now it's like, all right, now that you understand why I did this, apply that kind of critical thinking here, like that kind of thing.
Ooh, okay. All right. I like it. I like
Extra,
it.
extra points for using the term critical thinking.
Yeah. Extra good extra points. Extra credit. Yeah, okay, okay. Oh god. But that's I like that though. It's so I mean it's overall it's kind of living the dream almost, one would say. It's Jay's prehistoric pets. It's living the dream because you get to work in comics, you're doing the freelance work, and then you're teaching. But you got to be honest with me here. Which one's less stressful? Freelance work or teaching?
Less stressful.
Yeah. Because then we find out which one's the most stress.
Um, Honestly, I think the teaching is less stressful.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
because
Why
like
is it?
for the most part, I have an opportunity the next time. Comics is like
Ah.
deadline, and it's like deadlines suck.
Yo, they do. Oh, they
especially,
do.
especially when it's like, here's 30 pages. When's it due? Yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And people. There is somebody who's a big comic book fan that I know, and they're like, "Oh, wait, you got the comic book writer, like comic book workers have uh deadlines?" I'm like, "Yeah, we do." they're they're not fun. It's not just finish it whenever. Deadlines are rough. Deadlines are rough. But I mean, it makes sense in a way though, because yeah, you're right. You can just continue and redo it, but like if you're trying to do something and you're trying to hustle and maybe picture why you should be good for this book, you have that one shot. If you don't get it, you're not going to be on that book.
Yeah, and I mean, I was,
Girl.
and I steal things from all the best people. I forget who I stole this one from though, but I was telling like, you know, in your career, your reputation is what makes you, and you can have a couple different kinds of reputations. You can have being fast,
Mm.
being good, or being a nice person. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you might not necessarily have them all, but if you have I think I'm stealing this from Neil Gaiman now that I think about it. I was like,
Sounds like him. It does
yeah,
sound like him a lot.
like you'll do fine, you know. Like if you're an asshole but you're really good and you're always on time, people kind of forgive it. And if you're a nice guy and you're always on time, like people just want to work with you. And what would be the third combination?
Oh,
I guess if you're an asshole and a nice guy, no, I forget.
oh
Maybe
shit.
you go with it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, people figure it
And
out.
then I also tell them like there's a triangle, you know, like this is the other side of it. Like you've got people who are going to want things fast, people are going to want things on time, and people are going to want things good. In this triangle, you can only take two. So choose wisely, you know. And this is what I tell them to tell their clients, basically. You know, like you can get it fast, but it might not be good. You can get it on time, but it's going to cost you know, like that kind of thing. You know.
Yeah. I like that. That's, I mean, that's useful. It's extremely useful because, and I guess we should make it clear to people in case people listening don't know. There's a lot of competition when you work in comics, no matter what job it is. So when you're competing for stuff, you have to be able to stand out a little bit here, and you have to say the right things, like what you just said, in order to get the job, because it's so indie or near freelance, and it's so competitive.
No, no, absolutely. And I mean, you know, I try not to think of it so much as competing. Like I'm friends with most of the people who also do this.
Yeah, it's true. Like, but kind of because we are a big family in a way too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's just one of those things though, like you know, when you see someone else doing really well, and you're like, I want to do what they're doing, and you kind of keep up with it. That's what it is. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it does get hard because you know things get less and less. You know, like if someone likes you and they don't like me, and they keep giving you work, it sucks, but that's life, you know.
It's
But
true.
you try to stay relevant, you try to stay on top of things, and you know it'll be your time again, that kind of thing. You know, like I never have ill will against someone getting a job over me, because they earned it. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. They worked hard, you know. You work hard too, but they work hard, and it's like the whole thing. Everybody's getting the places and they get the jobs because they work hard. That no one's getting shit because they sit on their ass. And it's, people will say, "Well, yeah, I just sat around and then everything else is handed to me." I'm like, okay, well, I hardly believe that. You have to work hard to get to the places that people are getting to. You know, people aren't just handed things as much as people think they are.
mhm.
Which it's a miss. I love that so much. People are like, oh, this person's a big name, so they were just handed to it. I'm like, yeah, you know, how do I think they became a big name? How do you think this person gets to work on that? Because they worked hard for years. You know, so if you look at the person's history, they've been in the comic industry for 30
That's
years.
the thing.
There's a, you
People
know,
see the results and they don't see the work. You know,
yes.
because you know to most people you come out of nowhere, but it's like yeah, but you didn't see all the indie books I did. You didn't see all the
Oh yeah,
files that never got picked up. You know, all that kind of stuff.
yeah. All the stuff, those book series that we worked on that were canceled, that were about to come out, and it's just the whole thing and a half. It's like, yeah, you go through ups and you go through downs. They get to it. It's yeah. We need to have a TED talk on this. That's your next stop there, Taylor, is to do TED talk.
I don't know if I could do a TED talk for that long.
Nope.
I mean, I
No,
like to hear myself talk, but even I'm not that crazy.
no, it is a high level of stress going from Kubert School to TED Talk. There is that. I will give you that.
Yeah, I've got maybe you know 15 kids per class that I usually go with.
Oh
I'm
God.
not doing.
Oh, well
And I
then.
mean, and I like talking about what I do. You know, like I could talk for
Yeah,
hours, but also at some point I'm like, am I just rambling now?
that's fair. That's fair. I get that. Oh, I get that a lot. I, I'm curious though, because you've been obviously been working for a long time. You got to work the big two and such. You're doing indie series and your own thing. And you were saying mentioned before you've been a comic books fan before that too. Did you get a chance to work on any of your favorites yet, or are they still some that you want to still work on?
I mean, I've worked on stuff I like, but so like when I came into DC, right? It was I would say a year into the New 52. Um, and I was a low man in the totem pole, so it was kind of getting thrown whatever was like, all right, this book's here, you know, like I didn't get a regular series. So it was like, this book is finishing up, and our regular guy's busy. Can you just do it? Okay, fine. So it was a lot of that for a bit, and then it was like, all right, here's a Batman backup story, or here's a Green Lantern that nobody's available for. Like, you do it, that kind of stuff. So I got to pick a little bit. I did a couple Flash issues, I did a couple Green Lantern issues, things like that. But I never had a run, and that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to have a run.
Preferred character?
I could go on. I mean, I'd like to run on Batman. I'd like a run on, and I'm specifying Detective as a different book because I want that. I'd love a run on The Question.
That's a good choice.
Snake Eyes or G.I. Joe in general, Captain America, Fantastic Four. Like, I could name on and on and on. I would love to work on everything. But I don't make that my goal anymore. I don't want to be seen as a guy who's just like, I want the clout. I want the clout. I like working, and as long as I'm working, I'm happy. Like, people talk about awards all the time. Like, honestly, it'd be nice to win one, but I don't care, because as long as I'm working and I've got a career that can keep me going, what do I need an award for?
I mean, you get to live like a dream almost. I think a lot of people misunderstand.
Nightmare, but
that is fair. When it's dark days, they are really dark, and it's like a Harry Potter bad dream or some shit, or Dr. Seuss's worst nightmare, to quote Armageddon. So you never know. That's fair, but in a way too, you're right, and I love that too, because there's people I know, I won't name names, and they're like, oh, I'm going for the big award in comics. Like, why? You get to work in comics.
I mean,
that's the award itself.
Don't get me wrong, it would be nice. And
yes, it would. It would be good. It would be cool to have a trophy or a plaque. That's true.
Like, if I can call myself Eisner Award-winning letterer for sake of argument, that's going to open up a lot more doors. Like, this guy's got an Eisner, let's get him. That'd be wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But I'm doing well. I can't. Yeah. I'm happy. It's a cherry on the top. It's not necessary.
Exactly. And it's the thing, like, they're nice, but it's a whole, they're a whole thing. We'll get it. I don't want to like really piss anybody off with it, because I know some people are like, oh, we really want to go for it. I mean, it is something that you can just get. Like, it is just a nice addition to have it, but to just work only for that award, I kind of feel like you're missing the point of what you're doing there. You're missing the point of creating, because when you create, to me, if you're in the arts, right? Like, when we doing what we do, we're doing it because we want to create, because we want to inspire, because we want to motivate. We also want to make money, and we want to be able to pay bills and eat. Very helpful. But we're doing it because we like it and because we enjoy what we do. We're not doing it to be rich and famous. If your goal is to be rich and famous into something, most likely you're not going to achieve the goal.
Definitely not being comics.
No. Oh, God, no. Oh, no. I feel like I've chose the worst three things to ever get rich in, and it was comics, film, and animal caretaking. Let me tell you, Taylor, you don't make money in either one of those.
Look, I don't even want to be rich.
No, it seems overrated.
It's a headache I don't want. And frankly, if we start getting into this whole thing, I'm all about the redistribution of wealth. So
yeah, that's true. And you know what? Taxes seem like a bitch that you got to pay on all that. If you do pay taxes, which you should.
I don't mind paying taxes. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
As long as they're being used for what they're supposed to be.
It's true. That's very true.
And I've seen how they don't get used for that, and that's what pisses me off and gets me angry about paying taxes. Like,
if you don't mind saying, I believe you're on the East Coast. I mean, you can say the state if you like to. I don't know if you want to or not.
I'm in Jersey.
Jersey. Okay. Some people get weird.
If you know where the Cuber School is, I'm in Jersey. So
yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. I mean, Jersey itself. I mean, it's just a few times we get kind of political on the show because we can get into this. Jersey itself, that's a whole bucket of worms. I mean, being in Arizona, I kind of feel that too, because you wonder where the fuck everything goes. Because it ain't a lot of shit you think it needs to go to. And in Jersey, I got friends of mine that live out there too, and they say the same thing.
It does better, I think, when people can pay attention to what's going on. But I spent most of my life suburbs of New York. And those places, people are trying to get day to day.
Yep.
They don't have time to go to town hall meetings or school board meetings and see what's happening to their money. You know, um, when you live more comfortably, or you're like me, where you can actually be home and also keep an eye on these things.
Yeah.
You can be a little more attentive and be like, hey, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And then people in power will do whatever the hell they want.
It's true. I mean, there's a quote somebody told, and I want to get your opinion on this. Is pretty good or not? Is a lot of us are just Clark Kents living in a world of Lex Luthors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, really do. I mean, one of them just drove like a whole mech suit from Avatar the other day, so there's that too. but hey, get out of that.
I made a tweet about that when he posted that picture. It was like, I don't know if he posted. Someone posted that picture and they were like, age 57, this age whatever, all the way down. I was like, age 60, destroy Superman. So
yeah, we're going there. Where hey, who knows? Somebody, I want to get this on record because I was talking about it. Some friends of mine from Illinois who visited, and we were talking about Bezos going to space, and it was I laughed. I said, hey, what happens if we don't allow him to come back? what does he do? Like, and it's like, oh, it's a very good question. What do you do? And they're like, yeah, no, sorry, we're done with you. UN says he can't come back. Good luck trying to get back. Like, what happened?
I mean, listen, if we could send a couple more people out there, I wouldn't.
hey, we all know the list. we know the list.
Right or left. I'm just talking obnoxious assholes.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yes. But besides that point, man, I mean, I know it's getting late for you, and I've had you on for a bit. I don't want to take too much of your time.
You're fine. I had some coffee. I'm going to be up for a bit.
Oh, you really? I had 2 cups of coffee within 2 hours before heading to the reptile sanctuary this morning because one of the when you have a family member who works at a Starbucks, make sure you figure out which one it is beforehand. Because I went to the wrong one, got a drink, and like, oh wait, I don't see her. Is she on break? Text to make sure. Oh, my sister's not here at this one. She's at a different one, and she really wants to give me a coffee beforehand. Looks like I'm getting 2 now. And
it just sounds like Scott Pilgrim.
Did it really? I'll take. That's great. I'll definitely take that. That's the best compliment I'll ever have. Oh man, so yeah, no, I get that. But I mean, are you going to be going to work tonight? Is it work night for you, or did you take coffee for coming on the show?
I just like drinking coffee at night. I'm a crazy person, but
you're more crazier than I am.
I drink coffee for the taste at this point because it's not doing anything.
Oh really? I'm heading to that point. It's very close. And it's that point where they're like, why'd you have so much flavoring and sugar in there? Like, it's got to affect me somehow. It's becoming bland.
I just drink it black. I don't even
care. That's a relaxing drink. To me, that's I'm breaking up. I'm on a day off from everything, which is rare. And I'm opening a book, like a book. Like, maybe I'm reading up on some science stuff going on, maybe some vet stuff. I'm reading up on a lot of things or zoo stuff. And or I'm reading comic books and just black cup of coffee in the morning, plug in some headphones and say, fuck you world. I got coffee and books.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I got to a point, not so much now. Now it's gotten better, but that's a point where I was like, I don't want to read for fun right now.
Really? You hit that point?
Well, you see so many pages of comics. The last thing you want to do is read more comics.
Oh, that's fair. But what about books, like novels and such? Is it still the same with those?
I don't have the time for that. Like, I'll forget one day to the next because there's so much stuff on my mind.
Oh, condole. Maybe audiobooks.
I do audiobooks.
Okay.
I haven't done one in a while because I've been, just binging stuff like work.
That's fair.
But the last one I really enjoyed was it is a while back, but Paddle Your Own Canoe from Nick Offerman.
I've heard of that.
It's a great book, and actually, it's funny because even though he talks a lot about his career and acting and all that stuff, a lot of it really does apply to just anybody who's making their own way in a field that they want to do. Obviously I don't know anything about woodworking. I'm not an actor, but there's a lot I could apply to like the work ethic and all that kind of stuff.
I like that. I mean, Seth Rogen came out with one kind of like that recently too, and I kind of want to check it out, to be honest, because it was like his whole crazy stories throughout his career. Like, as a guy who's been told to write that sort of book, because I have a lot of crazy stories throughout my life. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I don't know. Huh. Now you want to give me that one by Nick Offerman? All right.
It's a great listen. I mean, you know, if you like, you know, Nick Offerman and you like Ron Swanson and all that stuff, it's great. It's funny because, you know, in a lot of ways he is Ron, but he's also kind of a hippie. And
Kind of? I would say not kind of.
no, but like I say kind of, but like he's definitely like business oriented. You wouldn't have a wood shop with employees if you weren't business oriented. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
But you know, he gets very philosophical and all this stuff. And you know, when you listen to it, you really do get a lot of it because he studied. You know, like he talks a lot about his college and amateur career before he got really started, and he did a lot of like kabuki theater with this one traveling troupe, and they went to Japan. And like, you know, like it's stuff you wouldn't expect from him, and it's like that's out there.
I mean, just kabuki theater and going to Japan already's got me interested. As a guy who's done theater before, that's
yeah. But like, you know, I have no interest in acting. I'm not one of these people. But like, I was like, all right, you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, well, I'm making a trip to Barnes & Noble. see what I can get. I mean, and the folks at home, Barnes & Noble is a place where you can buy actual audiobooks and books.
I heard it on Audible. It's great, you know, like then I have to go out to the store, which is always not have to get off my ass.
That's valid. I mean, you work like crazy too, so I get that a lot. It's like, oh, do I want to get up? Fuck it, I have technology. Oh, there was a video my girlfriend showed me, by the way. And people who are like comics, and we're like, yeah, we'll get to it in a minute. My girlfriend showed me this video, and she's half Japanese, and I met her. I know her grandmother, and her grandma's full of Japanese. And I'm not going to do the accent, not to seem really racist. I don't want to seem like that. I really don't. But the best, I'll say it in an American voice, was like it was a whole TikTok video she showed me because you know she's got it, and she likes TikTok. Plenty of other people I know, and even in their 50s do. And it was like, oh, how to cook rice the Asian way. First off, World War II over. We use technology. And it's like, yeah, that's fair. Use a rice cooker. There was a whole thing. It's like, why do it the hard way? Just use technology. Just go ahead. Use a rice cooker.
I mean, it's cool to learn how to do things, you know, like
It's true. But have you ever tried to cook rice, though, Taylor?
Oh yeah, no, it's a hassle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a reason why I have an instant pot and I make my rice in there because it takes 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, and I put ramen noodles, if I get noodles, I just put ramen in a pot. There you go. Simple enough.
No, but like I was watching something a while back, like it was this lady who was like showing how like people in like ancient Rome would eat, and she's like making stuffed kidney and some kind of honey cake and all that stuff, and I'm like, this looks kind of cool, and I would even try to do it the old-fashioned way. I have a buddy who like got on this kick of like period correct. That's what we call it, because he found this guy on YouTube. It was a guy that like dresses like circa I forget what year, like 17 something, 18 something.
Oh shit! Okay.
And he's like making Revolutionary War dishes and like living like that and stuff. We kind of laugh at it as a joke, but I'm watching. I'm like, you know what? Like this is actually kind of interesting. I'm kind of into this.
Wow.
And then like watching that got me to this lady, and I was like, so she's like cooking with like, you know, on a freaking, I guess it would be the equivalent of a grill with like this like iron plate over the food to like trap the heat in and stuff. I'm like, you know what? It looks kind of cool. I mean, I would make this like in my modern oven, but it looks cool. You know.
Oh, Taylor, you have done something terrible to me. I want to deep dive really bad into this YouTube hole of like antique cooking with people who dress up. Oh my God. My grandmother would be proud. I'm kind of getting into cooking.
Funny enough, I got into cooking because when I got laid off, I had nothing better to do. So started cooking around. And
I gotta cook. Yeah, I'm gonna make stuff for the family. All right, I'm gonna do this here real fastly. That, I mean, you know what? You kept it busy though.
Yeah, honestly, it did keep my mind occupied and trying new things and stuff like that.
I love it. I love it. Well, Taylor, good man. I am gonna say, hey, because I don't want to keep. Like I said, I still feel bad. I know you had the coffee and such. I still feel kind of bad because it's
It's all,
only 7:30 for me, but it feels like I've been awake for 50 hours, and then it's like 9:30, I think, for
I'll,
you.
I'll probably do 2 hours on a jigsaw puzzle, watch The Bad Batch. I'll be busy.
Oh wow, I gotta catch up on the bad shit.
Yeah.
I gotta really catch up. I'm behind 2 episodes.
Oh, so you don't know that thing?
I was about to flip shit. I'm not doing like Naylor,
I
no.
didn't say it, but I'm like, how do I mention it? Well,
Oh.
it's something to do. All I'll say is something to do with Omega.
Omega.
Yeah,
Okay. I've been hearing. It's also really tough to avoid spoilers when you follow a bunch of like fellow nerds. It's
yeah.
really
I,
tough.
I'll never forget when. What was it? Was it Mandalorian? Yeah,
Probably. Yeah, that was spoiled a lot for
when
people.
Mandalorian was on last year,
Hmm.
somebody put up, uh, like they're just like, I can't believe it, in like a Boba Fett gif or something, and it was from like Return of the Jedi. It didn't matter, but I'm like, that's all people are thinking about today.
Oh.
Why the fuck would you post that? And I actually like
Oh.
blocked and unfriended this guy, and like he was like taking like a badge of honor, like, oh, everyone's getting upset. It's like, because you're a fucking asshole, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
like
don't do that.
why?
I've been waiting. Let's see, when did I actually get to Star Wars? 1996. 20 something. I've been waiting like 25 years to see the return of Boba Fett. Why the fuck would you spoil that for me?
I that's ooh. I mean, that goes to the fact, did you ever see the video where somebody spoiled like one of the recent Star Wars movies for somebody? And the guy beat the shit out of that other dude. Cause he's like, hey, and he got arrested. He's like, my reasoning is he spoiled Star Wars. And it's like, valid. This is a valid point because
First of
like,
all, at the end of the day, it's all entertainment. It doesn't really matter. And like I give, if it's
yeah.
been a week, fine. It was that morning. Like I woke
Oh
up,
my God.
I get, because it was Friday, right?
Yeah.
Mandalorian drops on Friday. I teach on Fridays. I get to school. Someone messaged me because, and this is another reason why I tell people stop messaging me for work on social media. I like emails because that way I can keep track of things. But anyway, um, someone messaged me on social media for a job. I went to go look at it. And when I opened the app, there's this freaking picture. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my condolences. I feel so bad. I I that happened to me with the Godzilla versus Kong, and I went on the Facebook, and I'm a huge kaiju fan since the old Japanese movies for many years. Since I was a little kid, since I was like 4 years old, and I went on to there. I mean, I blocked people to avoid Mandalorian spoilers. I'll be honest. But when I went on the Facebook, and I'm in part of Godzilla Facebook groups, and I went on it there, and someone's like, "Mecha Godzilla toy leak confirmed for the new movie." I have an OtterBox on my phone because I threw it on my bed because I was waking up in the morning. It's like, oh shit, the hell's going on? And my phone was blowing up, and I threw my phone on the bed, and I just screamed, "Motherfucker!" God damn it! I was irate, and it was that whole thing. I'm like, I'm leaving the fucking group. Why? And it was a whole, because I'm like, do you know it's true? Because there was like 5 toys of them, and it's like, oh, well, I'm fucked. It's great. Like, thanks, dude, for like, well, I wanted to confirm for everybody. And it's the same thing. They're always like, oh, well, it's all right. Everyone's unblocking me and stuff like that. I think it's super cool. I wanted to share it. No, no. You don't get how this works as being a nerd.
Like,
Sorry.
I remember the last episode. Thank God no one spoiled that last episode because, again, also, I've been waiting that long to see Luke Skywalker in his prime again.
Oh God, yeah. That was Disney like keeping track of shit online and like taking people's social media accounts down to get that to not spoil.
Oh, yeah.
That
And
was some yeah.
honestly, like, as cool as that was, like, I'm fine if they recast Hamill, like, get what's his face, Bucky,
Yeah, yeah.
play him, and give me like an Adventures Luke Skywalker show. I would be all about that.
Oh, everybody would.
Uh,
Everybody would. We'd cry in the opening 2 seconds.
But yeah, like nobody spoiled that one for me, and it's like with that last scene, that Book of Boba Fett teaser. Like I wanted to so bad just put like because it reminded me of that picture of Conan, like Arnold on the throne and shit. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to post this, but I don't want to be that asshole. So like I waited a week, and I'm like, this was so cool. It reminded me of this. Like,
It was like, hey, I waited a week, guys, and this is don't worry. You can't say shit. It was a week. If you let's be honest though, a week when it comes to Mandalorian is good time because if you're gonna watch it and you're a fan, you'd watch it.
yeah,
Yeah. There was the week was the threshold. It's like that unknown thing. It's not really unknown, but it's the not talked about traditions of like wait a week. Even after a movie, if it's a movie, like wait a month, but then
it's
wait a week for a TV show. Because really.
like this is the problem that like shows that drop all at once have because these
Mm.
nut jobs will stay up all night, watch the entire series,
How do they do that?
and
They're
then
just
like I remember when Daredevil first came out,
oh
people
yeah.
shotgunning. I'm like, how the fuck are you assholes doing this? Like, I gotta work in the morning. Like, and it doubly for
Yeah.
like you live with someone who wants to watch it too, and
Oh no. I'm no. I refuse to believe that people are like I watched it with my wife. Yeah, full of shit. You watched it by yourself for the
no,
first full episodes, and
but
then later.
listen, I don't know how some people are, but I would know better than to do that to someone.
Oh God, yeah.
Um,
There's no way. There's shit I don't watch without my girlfriend. There's
no,
no way. I live with her. She'd kill me. I'd be on Hallmark Channel. It'd be rough.
this is why I don't worry about that. It's me, but yeah, no, like people who do that, like, what are you nuts? Like, you sleep in the same room with this person, they could they could
Yeah.
kill you or something.
Don't piss off the person you share a bed with. That's like rule of survival at that point. Don't do it. Like no. It's like don't rule number 2 of survival in modern houses. Don't piss off the cat because the cat will kill you and don't care. I've woken up with scratches. I thought people say it was demons. I know it was my cat. You just know. I don't know. There's no way. No, there's none. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. No. You know what? Our significant others may listen to this, although mine's in the studio right now. So she's just looking at me like, yeah, right, bitch. You know.
And
Hey,
the last we've ever heard of the code.
yeah, this is the last podcast, the last anything was that and Fateful Night. And it wasn't because it's 110 degrees outside in Phoenix. No, it was not. But yeah, Taylor, I'm gonna say because we're at the hour mark, man. Is I definitely want to say thank you for coming on the show. This has been really fun.
Oh, I'm happy to be on. I'm happy to be on it.
Of course. All right. Now it comes to you though, because freelancing and all the jazz. I like to give people the floor to promote yourself, good man. Like what things are coming out, what things can you talk about that aren't under the like Berlin Wall of NDAs?
So let's see. Coming back to DC, I'm doing the Harley Quinn animated series tie-in.
Oh shit, okay. Very
That,
nice.
that's going to be fun. My friend T's working on it, and that's how I got on it. It picks up pretty much at the end of last season. So if you're jonesing for some more Harley Quinn, definitely get on that. Um, let's see. So that'll be out in September. Uh, I think most of my Dark Horse stuff has been announced. It's almost all with Aubrey. So we had Savage Hearts was announced. Uh, Worst Dudes is already out. Is I doing a third one? Hold on. I'll tell you now.
Baby.
Well, that other one wasn't announced. So I can't say that one yet.
Okay, that's fair. Don't do that.
I got a bunch of Aftershock stuff coming out. Bunny Mask, which if you like horror, definitely get on that.
Oh.
Maniac of New York just finished, and it's been announced we got the second volume coming out. They're doing a few books for them. Finishing up Baby Teeth finally. Like,
Oh.
I actually missed working with Donnie, so it was nice. The Baby Teeth, Clan of Bellari, and that other one's not announced yet.
Taylor, holy shit! Hey, when you're saying you work a lot, you really proving it right now.
I mean,
Oh my god!
Elvira and Vincent Price is coming out. I think, the Vampirverse mini is happening. What else am I working on? Zenoscope, I'm still going strong over there. I just hit issue 50 of Grim Fairy Tales. So
Jesus. I write
nice.
7 comic books, and you're making me feel bad about just doing 7.
It is
Really are. Oh God. You know what though? I'm proud. I really am, because I think that's really cool. Because I really, you know what, people who are like, I bet he doesn't work that much. Fucking proving them wrong right now. Holy shit.
Sometimes it feels like I work too much. It's out of control.
I get that.
That,
The guy
that,
with 3 jobs, I get it.
that's why you set limits, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You take some time off and you play some video games, or you take some time off and then next thing you know, you're at a reptile sanctuary. Who knows?
yeah.
You never know. Never know where you're gonna go. But sweet, where can they find you out on social media?
So you can find me on Twitter at Taylor Espo and at Ghostcliff,
Cool.
Instagram Ghostcliff, Facebook Ghostcliff Studios. You can find me on my website, uh, ghostcliffstudios.com. And if you want to learn from me, go to the Keyword School. You can take your 3-year course, or you can take the summer. No, not summer. It's offered all year, but I'm not doing it this summer. It's a 4-week online course, or 6-week online course rather. Sorry. They offer it like 3 or 4 times a year. So I skipped the summer just because I needed a break, but I'll be doing it again in the fall for sure.
Good shit. Good shit. I like it. I like it a lot. So obviously, people, folks listening at home, you guys got plenty of stuff to go check out for Taylor. And then also Keyword School if you want to learn some more. I mean, obviously, you Taylor, you gave a lot of good, really good learning experience on the show today. I thank you for that too, because I like it when people can learn something from stuff I do. I find it nice. It's kind of good to put some stuff like that out.
I try to teach.
Yeah.
Not much as good as Animal House taught us.
It's almost like you teach for a job. Almost. Like I said, though, thank you, good man. I'll let you have the rest of your night to do for the jigsaw. I'm probably gonna go see Black Widow tonight, so there we go, because it's still a little bit later. But yeah, thank you, Taylor, for coming on, man. Like I said, an absolute honor to have you here.
Oh, happy to. Maybe we'll do it again one day.
Sweet. Oh, totally down for that too. If you want to come on and promote something.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Of course. I'll talk to you later, man. Thank you.
Bye.